Okay, welcome back, obviously, to another video in the channel. I am in the process of moving out of my apartment at this moment in time. So I haven't been able to watch a whole lot of the Australian Open, but I've watched a couple things, a couple matches here and there, and I will make a review with all the matches that I've been able to watch. So just kind of go over some of those matches. Off the top of my head, the ones that I was able to catch: Djokovic, Medvedev, Tsitsipas, Rublev, Jerry Caboli. Trying to think. I didn't catch the Alcaraz match. That was the big one that I'm missing. But yeah, those are the matches that I did catch, and some others. And I will be making a review on my thoughts on some of those matches. But for now, I wanted to make a video because some disturbing news. Well, not necessarily disturbing, but some news has come to light about Alexander Zverev, that he will be going on trial, apparently, in Germany this May. He will be tried for allegedly, abusing his former girlfriend, Brenda Patea, I believe her name was. This is the second allegation that has come up against Zverev. The first one was against Olga Sharipova. She had accused him of much of the same thing that Brenda has accused Alexander of. So I'm not going to really state my opinion on it as much because I don't know. I just know that the ATP concluded an investigation last year, which deemed that there was no evidence. The evidence was not enough to actually convict him of a crime. So I'm just not going to state my opinion on it, mainly because I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on. So just gonna go from the list, and I'm gonna talk and react about some of the player reactions that have come out of this, and talk about Zverev's reaction. So Zverev was asked this. Zverev was asked this by a journalist after his first round match. Let's see, so I'll just kind of go through it. Can I ask about the trial in Germany? Do you think it's appropriate to continue on the ATP Players Council while the case is underway? Zverev, why would it not be? Well, there's obviously a question mark about your judgment, and the court will decide. Zverev, there isn't. You have the confidence of your fellow players to continue in that role. Zverev, that is annoying. That is annoying. Yeah, I think so. I think so. Nobody has said anything to me. I don't have a reason not to believe that. There are some people around saying you shouldn't be playing at all, let alone be in a leadership position. What are your thoughts about that? Zverev, like who? Journalists are saying that. Some who are actually interested more in the story to write about and more about the clicks than the actual truth. And that's where the quote ends. So basically, Zverev is insinuating that this isn't real. Like, these people don't care about the truth. They just care about getting clicks to their articles. In which case, I do agree that's something that happens a lot on the ATP tour. I think a lot of journalists like to make a big deal out of things, and ask questions that maybe shouldn't be asked. And in this case, this was a journalist that was clearly trying to poke and provoke a player. So that's obviously not something that I would want happen to me if I was a player. And I also don't want questions asked that I'm not comfortable enough answering. So a good majority of players on the WTA and ATP tour were questioned, so I'm just going to go through some of them. Iga Swiatek was asked about the domestic violence case. It was confirmed overnight that Zverev will face a trial in Germany of domestic violence charges. He denies that. Is it appropriate that he continues to serve on the Players' Council while that happens, or continues to play until that is resolved? Swiatek replies, any answer that I give, I mean, there's no good answer to that. I think it's up to the ATP what they decide. For sure, it's not good when a player who's facing charges like that is kind of being promoted, which I think is a good response. It's diplomatic. I mean, you're neither confirming nor denying that something has happened. You're just kind of, you just have to go with what's kind of happening. So that was Swiatek's answer. Grigor Dimitrov was asked if it's appropriate that Zverev serves on the Players' Council while he's about to go on trial for domestic violence charges. In your capacity as a member on the Players' Council, you might be aware last night in Germany it was reported that Alexander Zverev will face a trial over these domestic violence charges in Berlin, blah, 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 blah. Do you think it's appropriate for him to continue serving on the Players' Council while the matter is being resolved? Grigor replies, first I hear this, I definitely won't comment more on that because I don't know what the situation is. Well, it's new that he's going to face a trial, but the charges aren't new. I think everyone is aware of that. So again, you're just trying to poke a player and trying to get a response. Grigor, I think in general, I always stay away from press in general. I really don't read much. Of course, there are things swirling around. Of course, I understand that part. On the other side, on the council, I mean, honestly, I don't know what to say. It's not only up to me who is in there, right? I mean, sure, but you may have a view of whether or not it's appropriate. Grigor, I think this is a matter that I think everyone needs to sit down together and discuss all of that. That's my message on that end. Of course, now these things coming through. Personally, I didn't know. So I'm sure if you all ask the other guys, it's something that, if it's needed, I guess we are all going to sit down and talk about it. Again, it's another diplomatic response. You're neither confirming nor denying anything. You're just straight up saying, I have no knowledge of it, so I'm not going to make a comment on it. And I think that's fair for him to say. If he doesn't know and he tries not to get involved in things like this, then I don't think it's right for a journalist to continue, you're trying to poke someone into a response. Casper Ruud was asked about the domestic violence case. Same line of questioning. Do you think it's appropriate he continues in that role on the Player Council? Casper, I haven't had too much time to think about it and don't really have an opinion right now. But yeah, I'm not exactly sure how to react to it, so I won't give you a good answer. Sorry. Stefanos Tsitsipas was asked about the domestic violence case. Same thing. Do you think it's appropriate for him to remain on the Players' Council and play while that trial is taking place? Steph replies, I will not say on that. I don't know the situation. I'm completely unfamiliar with it. I have nothing to comment on it. And a lot of these, they link the players' faces as well when they reply, and a lot of these players just are not okay with the questions that are being asked of them. Cam Norrie was asked about Zverev's domestic violence case. It was reported in Germany overnight that Zverev will face the trial, blah, 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 blah. Norrie, yeah, I don't know too much about that. I can't comment at all, unfortunately, but yeah. That he's representing players while that trial is happening, just wondering if people consider that appropriate. Norrie, honestly, I don't really know too much about that and what happened, so tough to comment. Some of the Twitter comments that people were putting down, asking these questions is ridiculous. They don't know and they can't comment. These questions are egregious. Shame on these journalists. Remove their credentials. Great journalism. LMFAO clown emoji. Once again, asking other players is just wrong. Ask the ATP. Lol, LOL, why are they asking players like Iga and Cam about cases they know absolutely nothing about? Fake journalism, looking for a soundbite. Why are you reporting on this with every player? Inappropriate. Isn't this harassment on every player asked? And somebody asked, where's the line between journalism or sensationalism? So what I will say is that I'm on the same boat as a lot of them. I don't really know what's going on. I know the charges brought up with him, and I know it doesn't look good when two different women come out and say pretty much the same things that you have harm them in some sort of way. I'm not going to go into detail about what he did or what they're accusing him of, maybe because I don't think that's really appropriate to share on a YouTube channel. So I'm not going to go into detail about what he did to them, but it's a lot of the same stuff. And the ATP concluded their investigation, and they said that, well, what they essentially said was, we don't have enough evidence to do anything now, but this case could be reopened in the future once new evidence comes to light, or once other people, once new things come to light about this. And I think that's fair. I mean, he wasn't barred from playing on tour because, it could easily just not be anything. And at the same time, they're still open into saying that, okay, look, if more evidence comes to light and if more things happen, we're going to look into this a lot more. And I think that's more or less what's happening here, is that I don't think this is necessarily an issue right now with Zverev. I think the issue right now is just a lot of journalists are asking inappropriate questions to players that they have no knowledge of anything. What are the players supposed to know? Players don't have inside knowledge into other players' lives. They don't. I mean, they don't. People on tour are very... They're kind of like loners. They do what they want. They're not focused so much on... They're not focused so much on other people. They focus on what they do. They focus on their own personal lives. I don't think anybody is focusing on what Alexander Zverev does in his personal life. So I just don't understand why these questions are being asked of players like Cameron Norrie and Casper Ruud and Stefanos Tsitsipas, where I think it's clear that they're trying to generate some sort of response, right? I think they're trying to ask one of these guys, and they're going to say, I think it's an absolute disgrace, like Zverev should be banned from tour immediately until this is... Like, they're just trying to get some sort of, story where they can put it, on the Daily Mail or express.co.uk or The Sun, BBC, CNN, whatever. They're just trying to find a story and make that click, like, Alexander Zverev faces abuse charges, fellow professional blasts him, stuff like that, which is going to get a lot of clicks, which is going to generate money, which is going to, it's going to generate money, it's going to help you out, it's going to help the organization out, and you're going to get a healthy bonus when you write an article that gets a lot of clicks, when it gets a lot of, eyeballs looking at it. So I just think that right now it's really inappropriate for journalists to be asking questions of other professional players about the case, especially when they don't really know what's happening and don't really, follow what's going on. It's the Australian Open, and these guys are much more focused on trying to make a deep run, trying to stay healthy, working on their diet, working on their fitness, working on their preparation for the next match. Oof. These are players that are trying to focus on their next match. They're trying to focus on, they're trying to focus on other things other than, worrying about what's going on with Alexander Zverev's personal life. And it is public knowledge that a trial date has been set in Germany. But until then, journalists should not be asking any questions of the sort to the players on tour, WTA or ATP side. It's completely inappropriate, and it's quite honestly, it's just not a good look. So that's my take on it. Again, I don't have an opinion on it because I don't know exactly what's going on. I don't know what evidence has come to light. I just don't know. All I'll say is it doesn't really look good for Zverev if two women are coming out and saying that you basically did the same things to both. That's all I'll say. That's my take on the matter, and yeah, again, I just don't really like modern day journalism. I think there's a fine line between journalism and sensationalism, and yeah, so that's sort of my take on it, and that's really the only thing I've got for this topic. So like, share, and subscribe, obviously, if you like the video. You know, feel free to share it on your social media. Feel free to like it. Feel free to subscribe. I will see you guys in the next video. I will talk about the first round ATP matches that I was able to catch. So stay tuned, and thank you so much for watching.